going on, everybody? It is your man, Cleveland Terry, and today we're going to be recording. It's been such a long time since I've made a video. I can't even get my intro right. The new Pioneer DJ HDJ CX headphones. These are a mid-level priced headphones that some people might find very attractive. We're going to talk about them and see how good they are compared to some of the other ones. Let's talk about it. Thank you guys for hanging out today. If you're new here, this is what we do. We talk about all things DJ related, gig logs, tutorials, training, anything and everything DJ related we're going to discuss. And also we have our Thursday talk show, which we talk about all things in a live format. Make sure you guys join us on Thursdays, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. All right, guys. I know I haven't been making a lot of videos lately. I've been super swamped with, look, we're all DJs here, so we know the gigs have been coming like crazy. So I've been working my butt off, but I need to stay focused, obviously, for my normal job. But this is also my job too, and that's reviewing products. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the HDJ CX headphones. Now, these are a little different. These are a mid-level headphone. I mean, they only cost about $150. So for most DJs, that's mid-priced. I mean, you have some of the beginner DJs that might take a look and maybe 50, 60 bucks to $100 is like, that's like the top for them, but that's pretty much entry level for DJs. And then you get into the mids, which is like the 150 to 200s. And then you get up to the higher price ones, which go around, you know, in the $200 to $300. I have two higher priced headphones, and that's these guys right here. You guys are probably familiar with, and also the V-Moda flagships, the crossfade wireless. Now, I've already opened this box, so this isn't going to be an unboxing of this particular brand. I've already had to test them because, well, that's what we do here. We test stuff. So last night on my event, I was rocking my in-ears and I said, you know what? Let's give it a try. Now, these are the headphones. I want to talk a little bit about them because, well, the first thing I'm going to point out is they are super, super light because they're a metal build, but they are mostly plastic. And for some people, they're going to feel a little cheap. As I showed them to my son, the first thing he said was, these kind of remind me of the airline headphones that they give out when you go on the plane. And well, you know, obviously a little bit of exaggeration there, but they are very, very light. And in the box, you get your headphones. You get the standard cord with your 1/4 inch output. And fortunately, you do have a detachable cable. In the box, you do have replacement pads, which is very, very important. Also, they are replacement pads. Some of these headphones, you know, once you get them on, that's it. When they wear out, you got to buy new headphones. You have replacement pads here. You also have your traditional, just standard cord here. I know everybody has a different feeling. Some people like the corded style. Some people like it to just be fully extended right out of the box. There is a 1/4 inch adapter on both of these. So you just take this guy off like so, and then put in the other one. Done. One thing I do want to mention, I don't say the good or the bad, but fortunately, they do have detachable cords. That's the first thing. So you know that if you break a cord, not only can you replace it, but then if you break both cords, you can replace those and you don't lose a completely working set of headphones. That's very, very important. Now, the way they go in is they are attached inward. There is a little screw in that snaps them into place that keeps them from coming loose. Now, I say this because, well, this right here, this little switch on makes them proprietary. Now, we all know we love to have things that are easy to replace. You're at a gig and for some reason you just forgot your cord here. Oh my God, let me go run to the store and then get a little mini jack and pop it in. Well, you don't have that option here. Not only do they require a kind of lock-in mechanism to make them work, but they're actually different sizes. They're slightly different sizes, as you can see here. Now, for most people, it doesn't matter. And as long as you can replace the cable, that's all most people care about. For their premium headphones, I mean, they have a mini XLR jack. And this is not something you can just go pick up on the street really, really quickly anyway. Then, again, the detachable pads, and I have not removed them, so I don't know how difficult or easy they are to remove. Let's see. Oh, nice. Okay. So it's just a little rubber sleeve right here. and it just goes right on top, and kind of like an elastic, just goes right over the top here. So that's super easy to attach. I do like that. Let's talk about the most important thing, and that is the sound. But before we talk about that, let's just talk a little bit about the build quality. Now, they are pretty much plastic, but that's okay because they feel really sturdy. They're very flexible, and it's weird because as you listen, there is some noise here, and that's because of the mechanisms that they put in place here. So there is this part which allows it to sit on your ear, because these are not over ear headphones, these are on ear headphones. So when you're dealing with on ear headphones, there's a couple of things that you need to really consider, and one of them is that they don't squeeze too tight on your ears, put too much pressure around your ears, and then they just hurt and are uncomfortable to use. These have this kind of flexible mechanism here that goes up and down, and of course out. So you got a lot of flexibility here. That is the name of the game for headphones. They're really, really comfortable because they're super, super light. That's the key here. They don't really feel like you're really wearing headphones. And I used them all night last night. Never really felt like they were wearing down on me. Some of my heavier headphones definitely you can feel them after a certain amount of time. You're just like, oh God, I'm just over them. I don't feel that here. And the pads are really nice. They feel good on the ears. And I didn't really notice my ears getting overly hot, because that's always the thing. You get sweaty ears, and it's just look, it's part of being a DJ. If you take them off your ear, they turn, and you see how far up they turn, all the way up here. So you have a lot of flexibility in the way you want it to work. Same with this side. So I really do like that, because that gives you a lot of options. And again, it makes them far more comfortable. Now, let's talk a little bit about the sound. I'm very impressed with the sound. They sound really good out of the box here. And I didn't know what to expect. They're not tinny. They're not sterile. They have a nice, warm, midline sound. Let's take a listen one more time before I say that. Not that it matters, but we are going to use the V-Modus 2 as a test case, just to kind of get a good sound, a good comparison sound here. We're going to do a little move your body. Which has a nice little low end to it. We're going to crank it up. Not getting any distortion. I'm at 90% of the volume, and I'm still not getting any distortion from the headphones, which is a good sign. And I can't even go up any louder because it just starts to hurt my ears. So there's plenty of range in these things. It has a nice mid presence. The bass is kicking. Very nice low end. I'm starting to believe that maybe there is a slight upper removal of some of the frequencies to kind of take away some of that sizzle. So we're going to test the V-Modus real quick and see if I hear any difference. Now, of course, look, again, these are way different priced headphones here. So I'm expecting the V-Modus to be better. And I say that, obviously, hoping that I'm right. Okay, I'm going to try these one more time. Okay, all right. The low end is actually better on these than they are on the V-Modus, in all honesty. But what I've noticed is, again, the V-Modus Crossfade Wireless have always had a very flat presence. So I know this about these headphones, and I actually chose them because of their flat presence. But these, what I do like is there is a emphasis on the low end. All right. So maybe a little more Beats type, but it's not muddy in the upper registers. As a matter of fact, I would say that it's probably has an emphasis on the low end and the mids. The mids are very, very pronounced, and the lows are very, very crisp. As a matter of fact, they're probably a little louder than the V-Modus. Maybe it's a power issue thing, but they are definitely a little louder. The upper register is good, but it's a little bit more muted than the V-Modus are, but that's also because the V-Modus are flat. So you're going to have a little more give across the board with something like the V Modus. Obviously, again, your mileage may vary. It depends on what you prefer. Since I've always preferred, as an engineering background, a flat frequency, that's why I chose the V Modus. Also, the upper end Pioneer DJ headphones are the same thing, very flat. Now, these definitely have a lot more color to them, but it's not a bad color. This actually is very, very good. Very impressed at $150. The sound quality of these, the sound isolation, and they're super, super light. You don't even feel them on your head. The only thing that I don't like about them, well, obviously the slightly proprietary cable, and the only other thing is the fact that you can't fold them up completely like any of your other, headphones. That's the one thing, because, in a bag, this can be a little bit of an issue. But for most people, you have a little area in your bag that's not going to be crunched up, then these are fine. Hey, what can I say? For $150, these make a good number one headphone, but they can also make a really good backup headphone that you aren't as concerned with, that you can kind of throw in, but that you're going to get a good sound out of them. I am a big fan of these, and I like the replacement cups. I like the fact that you can replace the cord. It's just as important. And I have no issues about these headphones. These are really, really good. And I would definitely recommend these to anybody who was looking for a headphone, a good sounding headphone at a reasonable price. Obviously, everybody's ears are different and everybody's mileage may vary. I know what I prefer. You might prefer something a little different. So again, if you're a flat kind of DJ, you like flat sound, then they do have a nice balanced sound, but they're not as flat. They're definitely colored on the low end to mid end. There are other headphones that are far more flat, but I think these are very, very good headphones. Now, I'm not comparing them to every headphone. If I go into the comments and you're like, try the Skull Candies, try this, try that. I haven't tried those. I can only tell you what I have here. If you want to send me headphones to review, I'll, just send me a DM. I'll send you my address and you can send them to me, and then I will review those also. But I like what I'm hearing out of these things. All right, guys, if you found what I said are useful, hit that like button. If you found what I said are really useful, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow me on the Instagrams and the Twitters. Get on my Discord, because that's where we're talking about all things Cleveland Terry. Guys, girls, always a pleasure. If I don't talk to you later, we'll talk soon.